Hey internet! So today I kind of wanted to make a video, kind of like a story time video, because I know a lot of people are kind of going through exams at the moment, or like just coming out of finishing exam season, waiting for results and all that. And so I kind of wanted to just make a little story time video for you guys of a time that I personally, something that happened to me at school. Basically the story of how I got banned completely from taking a course for A-level. Kind of a funny story for anyone who, you know, needs a little bit of a pick-me-up or whatever. So let's just kind of dive into this. So basically when I was like 16 and taking GCSEs, I loved English. English was like my jam. Like I had these two amazing teachers. I'm gonna call one of them Miss Cleopatra, who was also my form teacher in like year 9. And I also had this teacher called Mr. English. And Mr. English was like this insanely, he was like so passionate about English, he like loved it. Miss Cleopatra was like really nice, really cute. They like loved English, I loved English. About a Boy was like my book. Of Mice and Men was like my book. Like I loved this shit, man. I didn't like poetry, but I liked everything else in English. And I did like pretty good in my GCSEs, and I was like, man, I can't wait to take this to my new school, because I was moving to sixth form. I was like, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to be like an English teacher or some shit, like use my English. Yes. I really liked it. I thought I was going to take it for like uni or some crap like that. Like I really liked English. And then so I go to this new school, and in this new school, which is like 10 times bigger than my old school anyway, I have 2 English teachers again. I'm going to call one of them Miss Shakespeare, and I'm going to call the other Miss Poetry. So Miss Shakespeare and Miss Poetry were the 2 teachers that actually taught me. And there was another teacher in the English department, and she was called Miss Gertrude. I don't know, man. Gertrude. Yeah, she was called Miss Gertrude. So I kind of liked Miss Poetry. Like she was kind of cute. Like she had glasses. She was kind of sweet. She like, again, like quite liked English. And then Miss Shakespeare did not like me. And I didn't really like her. We didn't really see eye to eye, mostly because like I didn't really like the books we were reading. I was just quite a negative person in English class at that point, because I really didn't like it. And then Miss Gertrude was just like this presence that like hung around everywhere and was like there all the time. So like the first week I'd gone to one English lesson, with Miss Shakespeare, and I'd basically decided that, you know, like screw this, I didn't like it. I didn't really know anyone in my class, like I wasn't having banter with anyone. I didn't like Miss Shakespeare, I didn't like the sound of the topic, I didn't like the books we were doing. Like everything was just like off for me. I was like, you know. So like I literally hated it. And then like, so I think it must have been only like the 3rd lesson, it was still in the 1st week. I basically decided I was gonna bunk my English lesson. I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't wanna go. But I didn't know the school, so like here's the English block, and so I was just kind of like chilling here in this space here, because there were like benches and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna chill there. And Miss Gertrude came out and she saw me and she was like, aren't you meant to be in English? And I didn't have the energy to make up an excuse, so I just kind of went, yeah. And that was kind of the moment she realised that I was not gonna be someone she liked. So for the rest of the year, basically Miss Gertrude made it her mission to constantly come at me from different angles, like some kind of, I don't know, like creature. Like she was there all the time when she didn't teach me. No fairness, I was not an organised pupil. I mean, I'm not an organised human being, but I was not an organised pupil. And as the year kind of went on and I realised I hated this subject more and more, I kind of got more and more disorganised. Like I would turn up some weeks without even a pen, turn up without a book, any excuse to get out this lesson, I would use it. I remember one week Miss Gertrude actually covered our class and I didn't have a pen and I didn't have a book and I didn't have like a pencil, and I was just all round a mess. I didn't even have the books we were reading, and she was like, and I was like, And then also she like went after my sister. Like one time she was like, can I see your book? Because she knew I was disorganised. Whatever. So, and I remember like, so the year kind of goes on and she realises like she hates me, and she realises that I'm clearly not a good pupil and I'm like not giving a fuck about this lesson anymore. And so then she like calls me into her office one day, and she was like, I was kind of just looking at your exam papers, like your essays and your marks so far, and basically you're not gonna pass. And I was like, sorry? She was like, you're not gonna pass. And I was like, who are you to dictate this? I mean, at this point I knew I wasn't gonna pass, and I'd kind of made it my mission not to pass, just to kind of piss her off. But at the same time I was like, why are you telling me, yeah, whatever, why are you telling me shit? Who are you? You don't teach me, you don't see me in class. Whatever. So that happened. And then I was walking to the sixth form centre with like my chummies one day. Like we were just walking, like being cool, casual, whatever. I was probably eating something. She calls me over. She was like sitting like by these benches where the tennis people played. And she was like, come here, Charlie. And I was like, sup, Gertrude? Yes. That's not what I said, but I was, you know. And she was like, what are you thinking of taking for next year? And so I like started reading off some subjects, and one of them was English. And she just looked me dead in the eye and she was like, you're not taking English. And I was like, what if I pass? And she looked at me and she goes, you're not gonna pass though, are you? And I was just like, you are savage. And then for like the rest of the year, she basically like would come in and tell me I wasn't gonna pass, tell me like I wasn't bothering, I was lazy, which I kind of was, but like I didn't want to hear it from her. She didn't even teach me. She did not teach me. Gertrude, you didn't teach me. I need to just breathe for a sec. Oh. And then like the very last day of the year, like when we were all breaking up for results day, like the very last English lesson, she comes into our class. I'm being taught by Miss Shakespeare. Oh wait, no, I was being taught by Miss Poetry. Like we were all sitting in like these tables like round, and I was kind of near the door, so I like saw her come in and like grabbed a pen and pretended I was doing shit. She like comes in and she's like handing out these letters, and she's like, these are letters for a trip. Next September, when we start back at school, we're gonna go see Frankenstein, like for people who are considering doing A-level next year, blah, blah, like A2 next year. And so she's handing out these letters. And then she gets to me sitting on the end, and she just walked past me. And I was like, Miss Gertrude, where's my letter? And she just looks at me again and she goes, but you're not going to be joining us for English next year. And I was like, well, that's that. Thank you. Bye. Anyway, I did end up failing English, unsurprisingly, given that I like didn't finish half my paper. I didn't pass English. I got an E, which I remember being pretty chuffed about because I was like, still kind of a pass. And I went in for like enrollment like a few days after results day. I have to like enroll into the subjects you're doing for A2. And she called me over again, Miss Gertrude everywhere, called me over and she was like, so what did you get in English? And I was like, I got an E. And she just went, I know, and walked off. And I was like, you did not get the last laugh. Bye. Anyway, that is the story about how basically I got banned from taking a course because I was the kind of little shit. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Miss Gertrude, if you're watching, sup. Sorry. Not really though, you're kind of a bitch. Anyway, yes, if you liked this video, I don't know, press the like button and subscribe. If you don't, dislike it, unsubscribe, whatever. And I don't really know how to end these things, so bye.